Hello, everyone. We are back in town. The boys are back in town. That's a Powerpuff Girls episode reference. Um, yeah. So if like this, oh, wait, you're not gonna hear the music because the music I'm using the video by Epic Music VN, but the audio might be from the Lilith Inferno Embrace Ambiance by Tune Out TV. Um, so yeah. So that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm using the video, the visual for Hellfire Epic Ambiance, and I'm using the audio from Tune Out TV. So just let y'all know if y'all want to go and find the audio or find the video, you can see why, and you know why they didn't match up. But yeah, so I'm using that because I realized that this is a little, I guess, YouTuber information, YouTuber TMI, but because of my computer and the way that it's I need a desktop computer. Put it that way, right? My laptop has been through it. It has seen a lot. So, you know, over time, you just need to refurbish your stuff. I actually need to get a better storage thing for it, better memory RAM, whatever. But eventually, I'll do that. But right now, we're not in that position to do that. So it can't. My computer can't handle running the audio of the said video that I want to use while also running the visuals of said video. If you've seen in my last videos, I had to go and edit the videos a little bit and like because there were parts where I would cut out, and it was because my computer couldn't handle the video being ran, the audio being played, and OBS being up at the same time. So yeah. So I figured out how to do it where I could just play the visual without the audio. And then I'll go in editing and add the audio of said video or of another video later. So yeah. Yeah. Just want to say that. Hope y'all enjoy my little visuals. Like I said, I like to give a little background stuff for me and for y'all. You know, instead of just having a regular background or me just talking or me, I guess. So as you can tell by the title of this video, I it's, I always say that. You know what's funny? I hear YouTubers say that all the time, and I mean yes, because for me, the titles give me context. I don't know about y'all, but the titles give me context. So that's why I usually prefer to come up with the title first before because it helps anchor in what I'm trying to say, or it helps anchor in the mindset. You know what I'm saying? So honestly, some half the time I don't know exactly how I'm titled the videos, but I know the premise of it. Right? And this video is gonna be about evil, evil, evil and goodness, right? And of course, we got the neutral principle too, right? The principle that's in the middle, but it's not about it. There is no middle principle. No, I'm playing. But I will say in each element, whether it be evil or goodness, there is a neutral element even within those specters. But we'll get to that in a minute, right? So a lot of people, right? Oh, I gotta make a video about reptilians because eventually I'm going to connect to one. Of course, I'm not talking about the ones that are of my family because I do have reptilian in my blood. I am connected to reptilian beings, but I'm not talking about those. Those are the ones that are like um I don't want to say positive, but those are the ones that are, they're chill, right? They're more so just like chill. They might not be necessarily um a superhero, but they're chill. They know love and all that stuff. I'm talking about the ones that like might not know love as much. Like I want to eventually I'm gonna talk to them. So like and I'll tell y'all my experience. But obviously when I do it, I think I want to ask Hakate, mommy, to protect me just in case. Like, and I know it sounds crazy, but like but I know what I do need to do is like understand that I am protected. I think that's really what it is. That I don't need that protection. I guess this really, 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 bitch, really. I guess there's this little shut up. There's this little also the music in this video actually don't sound bad. It's epic ancient drum battle music. Actually not bad. Not bad. Um it says Nordic and stuff like that. So it's like Nordic music. But anyways, I really gotta sit with myself and understand that I am protected. So it's really nothing to fear. But there is that level of like, oh, you shouldn't do this, shouldn't do that, and like it's innocent fear though. For me, I'm scared, but it's just like an innocent type of scare. You know what I mean? Like scared of the unknown more so than scared of what's gonna happen to me. But I want to talk to one of them. This is a side note for our next video. But yeah, I want to talk to a reptilian because we're all family and I love them. Even the ones that are supervillains and the ones that are not supervillains. Whether they be neutral, outside of all of that, or positive, doesn't matter. You know, I love them. I love my reptilian family. From the top to the bottom, it doesn't matter if they're oppressing us or helping us. I love them all, right? So we're gonna make a video about that. Probably soon, actually, because I'm gonna get in contact with one really soon. I just want to talk to her. I don't know if the thing is though. I don't know if I want to channel one or if I want to do one in a dream state. I might end up doing both. I just don't know how I want to do that. But anyway, yeah. I actually had another image that was up, but I don't know if y'all would have liked that one. It was like a stereotypical demon. I hate that stereotypical looking demon. It's so annoying. So I was like, okay, we find a better one. Okay, I found a better demon, and it's a Nordic demon. Um, but yeah, the ambiance images are kind of hard to come by. I've been finding some D&D ones, so that's been good. Sorry, y'all. I'm talking about stuff that really don't matter. Okay, yeah. So evilness, right? Because those reptilians also go into evilness, right? The villainous polarity, right? The villains. And I was sitting thinking about this and talking about this, right? Everything is all alchemy, right? Or you want to say chemistry. Everything is chemistry. Everything's alchemy, right? What I mean by that is there, and when people say there's no such thing as evil or good, what they really mean is that what they're saying is there is no evil or goodness in the way your human perception understands it. Because saying there's when I say there's no evil and goodness, I'm talking about from the top to the bottom, evil and goodness are the same thing, right? They are part of the same thing. They are the same thing. It's like how I said about hold on. Listen, water. So, I know I hit my 26 mark when this video is over. I'm definitely been speaking for probably an hour. I'm trying to keep it short, but I'll probably be speaking for an hour. Okay, so, um, evilness, right? And goodness, right? And neutrality, even, are all the same thing. Just like how I say imagination in my last video. It's just like in my last video, how I said imagination is, just like how I said in my last video talking about, addiction and sex porn, right? Porn, right? Um, just like I was talking about that, how imagination expresses itself in many ways. It's all convoluted, it's all abstract, it's all literal, it's all a rainbow, right? This goes with evilness and goodness, right? The void expresses itself in every way. So therefore, you're a dummy. No, I'm kidding. No, there. So what are you talking about? Therefore, evilness is just is the expression of the void in an evil state, right? Prime evil state. So going back to I like to call okay, if you watch Descendants, you will understand what I'm talking about. I like to call the reptilians, the ones that like to oppress, I like to call them the VKs, or if you watch Descendants, the VKs means villain kids, right? And in Descendants, I kind of want to put the hold on. Let me put up the image of Descendants. Let me just another YouTuber quo, poor quo, whoa, another YouTuber whoa. Literally, I paused the video so I can come up here and show y'all the Descendants background. Okay, and I accidentally stopped the recording instead of unpausing it because I had it paused. I stopped it, and I'm like, oh my god, because that means I gotta add two separate parts, and I know I wasn't recording that long, technically, like 5 minutes, but still, I hate being inconvenienced. Sorry, it was a YouTuber. Whoa, forgive me. So can y'all see that? Yeah, in Descendants, one of my number one favorite fucking movies. Which one, two, three, four, and five. Because in five, wait, no, we only have four. In so far, in four, even in the four, they talk about this. So we're gonna be hitting on that as well. I wish I could add the music, but I'll probably just talk the lyrics, right? So I won't get like a video shut down. But I call the VKs, I call the reptilians the VKs, the reptilians that are villains, right? That we would consider villains. I call them, and mind, this is all one big playground, right? This is the show Recess. Ah, now I gotta add more stuff. Okay, so this show y'all gotta watch. It's called Recess. It used to play on Disney Channel. Everything, when you really look back at everything, none of this shit is real. When by real, I mean like none of this shit is really serious. It's all a game and it's fun. Oh my god! It also goes back into like how I watch Power Rangers. How you watch TV, you understand that they're actors, but you understand it's TV. Hold on, because Recess, right? From the top to the bottom, this is Recess. Everything's Recess. If you haven't watched this show, in this show, it's about these kids in school, right? I wish I remember the hierarchy. I typed in the hierarchy actually, because these are the kindergartens. They're actually kind of my favorite. They're fucking crazy. But let me see if it talks about the hierarchy in the show. Um, okay, so let's talk about the let's look at the AI overview. In the animated series Recess, the playground functions as a microcosm of human society, but this also can be talked about how creation was, how it is from the top to the bottom. So from the void on down, right? From source or from source on down, right? The from the void and source on down, it's a hierarchy, right? Got the big kids at the top and the little kids at the bottom. But okay, so keep that in mind because this also plays into like as above, so below. So in the animated series Recess, the playground functions as a microcosm of human society with its own complex societal hierarchy, government, and unwritten laws. Is this not as above, so below? This system is a major driver of the show's plot, with conflicts often arising from the main characters navigating the rules and social norms, which is you. You're the main character. Key elements. Key elementals. The monarchy. The students are ruled by okay, so I thought it went to eighth grade. No, it's sixth grade. Okay, so the highest you go is sixth grade, right? In this microcosm slash macrocosm. The students are ruled by a sixth grader known as King Bob, who acts as the primary authority and enforces the playground's traditional rules. He has enforcers to ensure his decrees are followed. Enforcers can be whether they're villains or heroes. It doesn't matter. Because this goes to what I'm about to say, the polarity of evilness, the polarity of goodness. Oh my god, I have not made a video about this. I swore I did, but I haven't. So the polarity of evilness and goodness could be considered enforcers, right? So keep that in mind. Because like I said, as above so below, it all plays, it all comes down, it literally goes up and down, up and down. It's convoluted. Okay, so the class system, the cliques, the society is highly stratified. I think I said that right. With various cliques defining the social structures. So cliques being Anunnaki, the Andromedan, cliques being angelics, cliques being demons, fairies, cliques being source, Hakate, clicks being the void, clicks being the universe, clicks being the stars, clicks being everything, right? But to keep it in a grounded way, clicks can be humans, clicks can be gods, clicks can be elder gods, primordial beings, etc., right? And like I said, the higher you go up, those are the big dogs. They make the rules, you know what I'm saying? And of course, like they said, like after you understand the rules, you can break them, right? Right. So, but yeah, they make the rules. We're just living in the rules until we make our own rules, right? So until we get powerful enough to make our own rules in our own realms and multiverses, universes, etc., right? Or if we just want to say fuck all that and just do whatever we want because we can move through higher realms and lower realms and stuff like that. But that's whatever. Like I said, right? It's their rules we're playing in it, etc. Right? So until we don't. But anyways, those what the clicks are. The Ashleys, right? A group of four snobby, fashionable girls, Ashley A, Ashley B, Ashley Q, and Ashley T, who consider themselves to be at the top of the social ladder. They are known for their catchphrases scandalous. Oh, guys, I love the Ashleys. I totally didn't know that they had a catchphrase. That's crazy. The main gang, the sixth fourth grade protagonist, TJ Delt Wheeler. I thought it was TJ Del Walker. I want to say Del Walker so bad. TJ Deetweed, girl, Deet Deet Detwiller, TJ Detwiller, the leader, Vince Lachelle, who's the big guy. The big guy was always my favorite. He was just so sweet and so innocent. He was just a big giant. I mean, he was a gentle giant, and I love those type of characters. Gentle giants are my favorite. Um, Vince LaSalle, the Jacques. That must be the boy with the basketball. I remember Ashley Spinell. I remember her name Spinell. I could never forget somebody named Spinell, the tomboy. I'm gonna show y'all images of who they are in a minute. Um, Gretchen, Grunel. Oh yeah, I remember Gretchen. The name Gretchen just always stands out too. Gretchen, the genius. Sorry y'all if I'm butchering these names. Forgive me. And Mikey Blumberg, the gentle giant. Oh my god, I didn't even know they titled him the gentle giant. Cause I was like, what they gonna call him? Literally, y'all, he is like all I want to do is just be nice to him. Like when you watch the show, all you want to do is just be kind and nice and protect Mikey Bloomberg, the gentle giant, because he's just too innocent for his own good, and I hate it. But and then you have Gus Griswold, the new kid. Okay, so Vince is the jock. I know TJ. I remember some of their names. TJ. I remember their names. I just didn't know the what titles and roles what they were. But okay. And I didn't know Vince. I forgot Vince's name. So Vince, Gus, Mikey, TJ, Spinell. Okay, period. Um, and it says these protagonists often find themselves challenging or navigating this system, right? Like humans, we have a hard time. We find it challenging. We either challenge. We hold on. So we find as humans, we find ourselves challenging or navigating this system. Recess, right? As the protagonist, we find ourselves challenging or navigating the systems that that the ones above us created for us to navigate, right? We challenge the system because that's why we're here. We're here to challenge and navigate, right? Within ourselves and outside of ourselves, right? The system. Um, and that's why I'm navigating for porn and safe places. And I'm advocating for not having to have age restrictions. Not, I mean, you can ask like, this is 18 plus. Like, are you sure you want to watch it? Like, that's fine if you have those little warnings. But no, I don't agree with. I stand with Pornhub. I don't agree with somebody should have to identify. No, it's not necessary. and also nudists. We need more places for people to be nude, just nude, period, and more places where people can be nude and have sex. That should be normalized, right? I don't care. That should be normalized. So that's some challenge in the system, right? And navigating that for me. But um yes, and that's just like humans, right? Like we navigate the system all the time, always challenging authority within ourselves, outside of ourselves, the system, hierarchy, right? We advocate for more public funding for schools. We advocate for food should be free. Hello, food and water should be free. All right, having healthy relationships with food, sex, and all that, right? Period. So, yes, this that reflects us. Um, yeah, Spinell, who's a tomboy, notably goes by her last name to avoid association with the Ashleys. Wait, oh, they were just telling you an example with that. Wait, why though? She's a tomboy. Her name is Spinell. Oh, Ashley Spinell. Sorry, that's why. Because I knew her as Spinell, not Ash. Okay, so her name is Ashley Spinell, so she goes by Spinell, so she can be associated with the Snobby Girls. Other groups, other distinct groups exist, such as the kindergartners, which I told y'all about earlier, which are my favorite. They're little heathens. The kindergartners, often depicted as a barbaric tribe that even teachers fear. Okay, my voice cracked. The pale kids who stay in the shade. Oh my god, I remember them. I gotta see if I can find this. I think this is on YouTube. Um, who stay in the shade because they're like the vampires, and various characters defined by their specific interests, like the hustlers. I remember them who sell things, and then you have the adults, the man, the teacher, who the teachers, and the principal. Most notably, Miss Fincher. I remember Miss Fincher. She was the biracial girl with the curly hair, biracial teacher with the curly hair, and the principal. Well, it's I think unless that was unless I'm getting her wrong with somebody else. Miss Fincher and the Prickly, Principal Prickly, represented by overlying adult worlds, represent the overlying adult world, or the man whose rules often conflict with the unwritten laws of the playground society. So, I hope y'all understood what I was trying to say there. So what they were saying was, yes, you have the adult faction, right? Whose whose rules and overlying adult world constantly conflicts with the unwritten rules and laws of the playground, right? So the show explores how the children seek to balance between their individuality and the societal norms imposed by the playground hierarchy and the school administration. So the hierarchy is just the gods, right? It's just the void. It's source. It's the content. It's it's Lilith. It's Lucifer. It's Samael. It's the angels, the demons, the fairies, the dragons, etc. Right? It's all a playground, but there's still a hierarchy within those playgrounds, right? See what I'm saying? So now that we got that out of the motherfucking way, ho, let's just go back to the video. Let's go back to the recess, right? Recess. So these are the Ashleys, by the way. Girl, I used to love the one in the pink. She was my favorite. I love a leader. But yeah, these are the teachers, the adults. I think Miss Fencer is the one in the green. I couldn't stand the one in the yellow gown. She reminded me of Medea. Look, she was always grouchy and mean, and she always had a little teacher pet too. And this is the principal. He in charge. Can't stand him. I used to love the principal though. Sometimes he'll be a terrible principal. He'll be letting shit happen. But yeah, so recess, right? Such a good. I told y'all the gentle giant, the blonde kid, the tall blonde kid, he was my favorite. He always had a big old belly, big old gut. But I just want to hold him and tell him everything's okay. So, but so everything is like recess, right? You have your bullies on the playground. You have your people who are self righteous. You have your heroes. You have your self-imposed individuals. You have your introverts. You, like I said, your pale kids, your vampires. You have your Ashleys on here, etc. Because we're all kids, right? We're all children. Even the adults are part of the playground, as you can see, right? The school is attached to the playground. They're inseparable, right? Meaning the adults, quote unquote, because there's no such thing as adults. I gotta make a poem video about that. The adults, quote unquote, as you see before you, the teachers down here, um, is what you can call Hecate, Source, the Void, the gods. But they too, if we came for them, and if we are a part of them and they are a part of us, we are children. We are all children, right? At the highest level, from the void on down, we are all children. And we all just play different roles. These are all symbolic archetypes, right? We all just play different roles, right? Just like how I described how every member of this main protagonist group have different titles, different archetypes, different roles, right? Within their group and within the overall playground and within the overall school. Crazy, right? Um, Such a good analogy. I love this show. I want to see if I can find it today because I said I gotta watch it. I said that yesterday, but I'm trying to watch it because it's such a classic. I'm glad I grew up on this show, and I'm still growing up on this show, right? But oh, oh, I also talked about Phineas and Ferb too. Um, Hold up. Another good classic, Phineas and Ferb. Y'all need to go watch it. It was on Disney Channel. It's on Disney Channel Plus. But another good classic. I don't know if it's on YouTube, but another good classic must watch. So as you can see, it's Phineas and Ferb, right? Because this also applies to this. In this show, you have one, two, three, four, five main protagonists, right? Each different personality. Um, and the guy to the right in the black shirt, his name is Buford. Oh, another good show. Oh, hold on. Um, okay, so I had to put up another show called Johnny Test, but we'll get to that in a minute. So as you can see, let me make sure y'all can see. Yeah, y'all can see that. I'll make sure to zoom in. I'll if I feel like it. But y'all can see that. I might zoom in to emphasize it more, but it doesn't matter. Um, so the guy to the right in the black shirt with the skull, his name is Buford. He's the bully in the group. He bullies everybody in this show. Well, every person, right? He was known as a bully. In the earlier seasons, he wasn't part of the group. Him and the other kid, honestly, in the beginning of the seasons, it was really just Phineas and Ferb, the kid in the orange and the kid with the green hair, right? The brothers. It was just them two, and then eventually over time, more people came, like the girl in the pink, Isabella, the kid in the overalls, Belgique, and then the other kid in the skull shirt, which is Buford. Candace was always there, but she was a snitch and she didn't count. And Player Platypus was there too, but he lived double he lived a double life like Hannah Montana. So we don't talk about her because she's fake. Miley, you didn't tell me you were Miley, and I'm your best friend. I love how Phineas was actually mad when he didn't realize. No, that's crazy though because the show gets so complex over time. But anyways, um, not to spoil anything, but Buford, the one in the skull shirt, he's a bully. He's a certified written bully. He bullies each character, and but he bullies the one in the overalls the most. They have like this cute little relationship, like love hate. I don't want to say love hate, but it's like the nerd and a bully. If you ever see a nerd bully relationship, it's adorable. It's like that. He bullies him, but he genuinely loves and care about him, right? But in the show, he like I said, he literally will bully characters that aren't part of the main cast too because he's a bully. He's like the Bowser of the group, right? We understand that Bowser is like the big protagonist, but without Bowser, you have no Mario, you have no Peach, you have no cosmology. You need Bowser. If you don't have Bowser, there is no narrative, there is no story, there is no plot, there is no meaning to anything. We understand this, right? You need a Bowser. You need Bowser. Bowser is my number one favorite Mario character of all time. Okay, Bowser, King Boo, Wiggler, Petey Piranha, the Thwomps, Rosalina, Peach, Daisy, Bowser Jr., etc. Right? But Bowser, I love the villains in in that game, in that franchise. Bowser is my number one favorite villain, and then King Boo. But Bowser is my number one favorite character. You cannot beat him. You need him. Period. Right? Like what's Link? What's a Zelda without their Ganondorf? They're nothing. They mean nothing. They have no purpose, no meaning, no nothing. They should just die. They will die without a Ganondorf. You see what I'm saying? So sorry, I'm just passionate about that. So in the show Johnny Test, you also have a villain character too called Bling Bling Boy. As you can see up here in the top left, who has this funny little buzz cut. That's Bling Bling Boy. He right here, the one with the brown haircut. He is the main antagonist to Johnny character. I'm trying to find a show. Oh, this is a cool little art right here. I like that. I'm trying to find it where like you see him, Bling Bling Boy, standing with the main cast. Regardless, it really don't matter. So Bling Bling Boy. So this is the main cast right here. Also, Bling Bling Boy is a part of it too. They just don't have it in the thing. But so you have, oh my god, Bling Bling Boy. Oh my god, what episode was this from? But you have this character, right? And he, not Johnny with breast. He and Johnny are like sworn enemies, whatever. But I gotta rewatch the show again too. I think it's on YouTube as well. But that's why they're making him black. Why would they make him black? That's crazy. Um, he tries to thwart Johnny Test, right? Even though he's the richest kid in the show. He is the richest person in the show. Like his necklaces bling, literally have a bling animation. He has everything, but for some reason, he just he fucks with Johnny. He fucks with him like a bully does, like a bully nerd relationship, right? Johnny Test is just an average person. He's kind of a nerd, kind of a loser. He doesn't have much going for him. He's just a regular middle class kid, right? Bling Bling Boy has everything. Yet he can't help himself from picking with Johnny Test, right? Blue and red. You get it, right? You about to get what I'm about to say, right? He can't help but pick with him. And that goes into the overall macrocosm that every being in the cosmos, from the either the void, source, Hecate, on down to humans, we're all feeding off each other. That's how we all survive. That's how we all live and die at the same time. We're all constantly feeding and dying off each other at the same time. You cannot have a Johnny Test without a Bling Bling Boy. You cannot have a Bowser without a Mario. You cannot have a Phineas and Ferb without a Buford. You cannot have a what's the Toy Story. You cannot have a Sid, or you cannot have an Andy without a Sid. Literally, let me just show y'all because y'all might not know what Toy Story. Like, you cannot have a Sid without an Andy. We all know Andy is the one in the green with the cowboy hat, and Sid is the one in the black shirt, the skull. Oh, and I love this show so much for showing this because I love seeing the dynamics. And you see Andy's house, right? It's all sweet, and they look alike. I think they're related, but that's my little theory. If you see Andy's house, right, it's all sweet. Toy Story. Let me see Andy's room. Andy Andy's room. So you see Andy's room, right? It's awesome. First of all, Andy's room is my room. The only thing that I would change would be I'll make the room pink. But Andy's room is like my dream room. Um, well, I have two type of dream rooms. One would kind of look like a one room would be like Andy's room, but with pink walls instead of blue. And my other dream room would be like it would be like a Bowser type of room where it'd be like Bowser themed, right? It'll be like black or in purple and like fire and Bowser and like hardcore. So, oh my god! So I guess like Sid rooms but with Bowser as the wallpaper and as the background. But I'm gonna show you. So you see Andy's room. You see how it's cute, ain't it? Andy's room actually ate down. Now I'm like, I wish I had his room. That's my heaven, my haven. Andy's room is chill. It's nice. They got everything going on. It's light. It's love. It's peace. Look at Andy just chilling in there, right? Andy's so cute. I thought Andy was so adorable. And I hated that he gave up his toys. But I understand giving it to somebody else. But he could have at least kept somebody or like something. Like I hate. I can wait to get my toys back. I'm about to rebuild my toy army and take over the world. Just like that damn one movie where the toys came alive. Yeah. It's called Little Army. It's called Little Army. Hold up. Just like the movie Small Soldiers. Another great classic. This movie was great. It was scary. I was scared. I was scared. But this also shows you about like light and darkness or like evilness and goodness, right? And you can literally tell by the it's not a good image. But you can tell by the colored skin, right? Evilness is usually depicted by that reddish, orange, or dark purple color, right? But in the and goodness is usually represented by blue. But you see how they're playing with the colors. You would think that GI Joe, who the GI Joe men who looks like humans, who are serving their country, you would think they're for the people, right? They're not, and you would think that the monsters would be villains, but they're not. And it goes to show like everything. I gotta go back and watch this show again because I think it also talks about how I think that one of the characters who are of the good guys talk about how evil is not evil or like this guy right here. He's one of the characters. He's kind of a pacifist, but he still fights. But the way he talks about the bad guys and stuff like that, it's not from hate or you're other or you're the enemy. He talks in a way where he understands the cosmic functions, the cosmic nations of all things. I always liked him. He was one of my favorite characters. He was actually chill. I would actually love to meet a creature like this. But yeah, another good show that you should watch, movie you should watch that talks about evil and goodness. But yeah, you see Andy's room, right? Yeah, I'm getting to the point. I swear. You see Andy's room. It's beautiful. And now you're gonna see Sid's, and you know Andy's toys, right? Let me just. It's a build up. I'm not the type of person that likes to build up. You see Andy's toys, right? Ew, it's an ugly picture. Okay, here we go. It's better. You see Andy's toys, right? And even Andy has like supervillains in his toy collection, right? Because he understands that because it's all symbolic of the fact that you need the villains. The villains are not evil or good, they are a cosmic necessity, a cosmic function. Where are the images of the toys? But y'all get the gist of the toys. Um, here's a good. I think here's a good one. So here's Andy's toys, right? They're loving. They seem pleasant, right? They're light. They're friendly. They're fun. Now let's check Sid's toys. Now let's check Sid's room first. Sid's room. Oh, now y'all know I said Sid. Oh, Sid's room is literally terrifying. This is his room. Look how dark. Wait, where his stuff at? But look how dark and dingy his room is, right? It's very dark, very low vibe. Um, here's some stuff. Where is his? Now, what the fuck? Like very dense, very low vibration, right? Not bad, not good in the human sense. It's just a different atmosphere, a different aesthetic, a different vibe. Um, Said rooms was the rooms of nightmares. You see that? Look at little Sid. Sid was so cute and adorable. Even though he's bad as fuck, I'll probably beat his shit. But I'm sorry, but I'll have to beat him up. He doing too much. He one of those kids that needed to get beat up. Um, no, for real, because his parents, where y'all at? But anyways, it's like having that one sibling that act like they grew up in the projects in the hood when they never did. So it's how Sid be acting. But you see Sid's room, right? Now look at Sid's toys. They're monstrous. They're horrifying. They're just unholy. My favorite toys was actually the legs and this little spider baby. That was actually my favorite. They're they're inhumane. These toys shouldn't exist. Look, and the monster hand. I love the monster hand. Those are my favorite. Look at this rolling head. Like this isn't right. This isn't natural. This isn't nature. This isn't okay, but it is. Toy Story 5. What the? Look at this. Another one. Sid's toys were monstrous. When we first seen these toys, we were like horrified. We all were. But I'm not gonna lie to you, I was also intrigued. Because I'm like, what is this? This mess, this monstrosity. Babyface, Ducky, the frog, oh, I love the frog too. The frog, hand in the box, Jiggle Joe, legs. What does that say? Rock, Rock Mobile, Roller Bob, Pump Boy. What are we talking here, bro? I didn't even know they had names. I call it Spider Baby. Spider Baby was the scariest to me. To me, the Spider Baby was the scariest, okay? But I love that one the most. That's my favorite. But you see that what I'm talking about, right? Everything has its polarity because it's supposed to. Not because things are wrong, that things are broken. No, nothing's ever a mistake. That's like me looking at my shadows and saying you're broken, you're a mistake, you're wrong, you're bad. It's only broken, it's only a mistake, it's only bad because you've rejected it. It's like me looking in the mirror, seeing my reflection and saying you're not me. Like, girl, what? That is you. That shadow you see in the daytime when you're walking outside, that's you. There ain't nobody else but you. So, this is you. It just all depends on your authentic nature. So, if you are somebody who rocks with this type of aesthetic, who rocks with villainy, who wears villainy in their own way, who's a rebel, who's stuff like that, this you might lead with this. And if you're somebody who's not, you might, like I said, you might lead with this. But if you're not, you might lead with Andy's room. Some of us are Andy's room, some of us are Sid's room, right? Or we might be a mixture of the two, etc. And what the fuck, etc. Right? You know what I'm saying? You might be an Andy, okay? And whatever it is, it doesn't matter, right? So, just like Reese says, how everything is connected, everything is supposed to be how it is. And going back and finally making our way back to Descendants. How long have I been talking? 33 minutes. The build up took too long. Okay, yeah, this video is definitely gonna be over an hour, a little over an hour. But just like how you have Descendants, right? They're villain kids. They're VKs. Oh, I need some water. I'm so sorry. Huh. So, y'all ever drink something and you need a moment for it to settle in your system? That's how I am when I drink something, especially water. I just need a moment to recalibrate. Chapstick. Mhm. Ah. Okay, we're good. But in the show, these villain kids, right? Oh, Descendants. Here's a good image. These are the children. This is the child of Jafar. This is the child of Maleficent. This is the child of the Evil Queen. This is the child of Cruella de Vil. All villainous. But the what makes a good story? And if everything is a story from the top to the bottom, what makes a good story? And this makes sense why. Okay, but anyways, what? Hold on, before I say that, what makes a good story? What makes a good story? The villain. The villain actually makes the story. This is why I've always been drawn to villains more than the characters. Well, one of the biggest reasons, aside from my polarity, right? Aside from my authentic nature, um, the villains make the story. You do realize that, right? Oh, another good show. Oh my god, I'm sorry. Another good show that talks about villains and stories and protagonists, etc., would be Ever After High. One of my favorite shows ever. My favorite character is the Raven Queen, and what's her name? This girl from Wonderland, the girl with the like swirly hair. This one to the far right, she's my favorite character in the Raven Queen. I forgot her name, but those two are my favorite characters. But yeah. So in this show, Ever After High, every character has a narrative, right? The villains are the villains. They play into the villain role, and that's it. The heroes are the heroes, and they play into the heroes, and that's it. And like I said, what makes a good story a villain? You literally, a Mario has no importance, no meaning without Bowser, and you can't tell me I'm wrong about that. We understand that Bowser literally defines Mario. Without Bowser, there is no Mario. Mario would not be important. He would not be as popular. He would not be as powerful without Bowser. And all Bowser, all the evil polarity represents the evilness, the villains, the darkness represents is not just the adversarial force, but they represent the force that defines the other force. So I guess the adversarial force. But yes, they without them, you wouldn't have any character development, right? You need that, right? And in the show Ever After High, the one to the left, the Raven Queen, she followed her. She's supposed to follow her mother, the Evil Queen, right? She was just like in Descendants. I'm not trying to start no drama here. They did cancel Ever After High because they were making Descendants. I hate that because they could have kept both shows going. Like what the fuck? But because one was a show, one was a movie. Like Ever After High was actually they started to have different like shows focusing on different stuff, and it's like y'all could have kept that going. Shout out to Monster High too, another good classic that I love. Cleo was my favorite and will always be my favorite. You would never meet that baddie. She is who I aspire to be in my life. Um, yeah. So Monster High and Ever After High are in the same universe. Spoiler alert. But the Raven Queen, she was like in this school, right? Every character was supposed to play their specific role. They was, as you can see, every character was supposed to follow their parents' footsteps. But a true rebel, a true evil villain, a true VK doesn't do that. They follow their own footsteps, just like in this movie. The characters was supposed when they finally was allowed to go to Ordon Prep, which is a school essentially for heroes, right? The light polarity. Everything is symbolic. Um, they're represented by light polarity. So then once they went to this school called Ordon Prep, they were around a bunch of heroes, right? A bunch of children whose parents were heroes, right? So they also had pressure too. But you get it, right? Princesses and prince and knights, etc. And then you had these four kids who came from the Isle of the Lost, right? And this is why I talk about emotional alchemy, right? And being the human. You can take the Isle of the Lost in two ways. The Isle of the Lost was a place where the villain kids and the villains, it was essentially a prison for the villains and the villain kids, right? Terrible place to be at. However, You can also equate that to the underworld or the infernal realms, right? The Isle of the Lost is still part of the Descendants universe, right? It was a few oceans away from Ordon Prep. It was like an ocean away from Ordon Prep, right? You had to travel the ocean to get to the Isle of the Lost because it was an isle, right? An isle is a land surrounded by sea or water, right? But the Isle of the Lost and Ordon Prep shared the same ocean, which means the evilness and the goodness, the underworld, the infernal, the demons and the fairies and the angels all share the same cosmology. And same with the villains and the heroes, right? Meaning we're not really separate from each other. We're just experiencing each other from different perceptions. Um, yeah. So, um, these villain kids went to this Ordon Prep High School where the heroes were. And in the show, and I love when the villains, you can tell when somebody's a villain, right? And they're fitting in with um the good guys. Because it's like, ooh, villains to me are just like the bad boys. I love the bad boys. The bad guys are always enticing. Hold on, need more water. Oh, okay, we had a coughing fit. I'm getting over. I told you I'm getting over a little cold sickness. Yeah, like they in these two shows they don't um are you royal or rebel? Ah, I gotta get the theme song. Um, Ever After High, you have the royals and the rebels, right? The royals want to follow their parents' footsteps, so they're like, "No, you're evil. You're gonna be evil, and that's it." And the rebels are like, "We create our own narratives. We can be whatever we want to be. If we want to follow our parents' footsteps, we can, but we don't have to." So in the sentence, they're like the rebels, right? You got they are the rebels, right? Because like, they come from the Isle of the Lost. It's a terrible place to be at, right? If you're not a rebel, it's very it's like the slums, y'all, the slums, and you know how that gets. this which that's also the underworld, the infernal realms, right? It's it's get it how you live, a dog eat dog world type shit. You know what I'm saying? What doesn't kill you makes you stronger, and and what doesn't make you stronger, you're out of here type shit. You know what I'm saying? You would better adapt fast and quick. You gotta be mean here. You gotta be tough and rough. You know what I'm saying? I love that. But so they went to Ordon Prep, right? Or or oh, I think it's A. Oridon. Ordon Prep. So this is Ordon Prep. They went to Ordon Prep, right? They went to Ordon Prep. This Ordon Prep. They went to Ordon Prep. Let me stop. So they had to go to this school, right? And the name Ordon Prep, and look at the colors and the it's ran by the Beast, and after he turned human, and the Snow White. Wait, what's her name? Isabel Belle. Her name is Belle. Yes, Belle. Snow White and Princess Belle. I had to remember about thinking about Once Upon a Time. Belle. Yeah, so it's a preppy school. You already know how it is, right? We already know where preppiness is, right? So these little rebels, these little hood kids, have to go to like an essentially an esteemed private school. So it's like you already know the dynamic, the racism, the prejudice is about to happen. So with that being said, they experience the prejudice, the racism, the sexism, the homophobia, all that shit, right? Because like, because the people at the school thought they were better, and why y'all here? Y'all would never be good. Girl, that one girl thought she ate Mel up. Mel turned her wig inside out, had her looking stupid. Go watch it. Know what I'm talking about? If you know, you know. Girl, she thought she was about to get a Mel face after Mel done helped her. Like, stop. Um, hold on. Oh, girl, I would have done worse. I actually would have done worse. But to everybody. But this girl, please, I will give you something to fear. But Mel she went a little too light for me. Um, but sorry, it was a little side note. But in the show, Ever After High. Let's listen to the lyrics. Yo, I'm getting to the point. Can you shut up? I'll play a song, but I'm trying to copyright. So listen to the lyrics. They told you, they told you everything was waiting for you. They told you everything was set in stone. What the fuck? Something flew in my face. Oh, it's my hair. Sorry, sorry. I'm so sorry. They um. Let's start over. They told you everything was waiting for you. They told you everything was set in stone. But now you're feeling like a different ending. Sometimes you gotta find it out on your own. It's an open book, a road in reverse, a road in reverse, a brand new look, a brand new hook. Forget that curse. I'm gonna say it again. Sometimes you gotta find it on your own. Oh, forgive me, y'all. It's like okay, I'm not gonna do this again. They told you everything was waiting for you. They told you everything was set in stone. But now you're feeling like a different ending. Sometimes you gotta find it on your own. It's an open book, a road in reverse, a brand new hook. Forget that curse. It's a rebel cause and with a royal heart. Rewrite, ignite, restart. Cause it's your life, it's your time. Go forward and rewind. Y'all, listen to the actual song. It's such a good song. Cause you're a royal, you're a rebel, you're more than one together. However you go, ever it ever after high. Royal and rebel, you're more than one together. Ever, however you go, ever and ever after high. Is there more lyrics? Pick the lock, wind the clock, turn the tables, mix and match until you make your mark. Now, kings and queens are gonna light the sky. All you need is a little spark. No more once upon a time, no more verse, no more rhyme, no more permanent ink. This is not what you think. It's a rebel cause with a royal heart. Rewrite, ignite, restart. And there's a bridge. When beauty isn't what it seems, sometimes the beast will. Oh yeah, ignore that part. Yeah, there's more lyrics to it, but that's like the full songs. But you get it. It doesn't matter. But yeah. So y'all, this is literally us. Like all that applies to us. Um, all that. We're more than one together, y'all. Which implies not we are just greater than the sum of our parts, but all our parts are us, whether that be the villains that are represented by the archons or the Bowsers or the reptilians, the reptilians that choose to be villainous, that is, or the dragons that choose to be dragons, or the demons, or the dark witches, etc. Right? That's a part of us just as much as everything else is, right? It doesn't matter if it's internal because the internal is the external and the external is the internal, right? The only way you can find your power is if you go in. Clearly, you don't go down or up to find your power, you go in, right? So, all that power, all of who we are is inside of us, and that includes the darkness, right? The evilness. And their family. This is why I see the darkness as family. I see evilness as family, right? And I also see it as I see it as imagination, right? True imagination, or aka the void. Um, but yeah, so they went to these schools and they rewrote the destiny. But get this though, in the shows, she still loved her mom. Raven Queen still loved her evil queen, her mom. In the movie, uh, Mel, she still loved Maleficent, right? Her mom is Maleficent in this movie, but she still loved her mom, right? And she rebelled against her mom, right? She didn't do what her mom told her to do. She started to, but she didn't, right? She rebelled. And she kept the title VK. And this goes back to what I'm saying, evilness and goodness. Right? In my last video where I talked about sex, I talked about addiction and porn. And and it's always levels to everything. And it depends on how your authentic nature is. Your authentic nature tells you everything, y'all. Listen to what I'm saying. Your authentic nature tells you everything. Because in the show, these kids operated were at the beginning of the show, they were operating off their parents' authentic nature, not theirs. So they were misguided. They were doing things that didn't feel right. But once they started to see like they didn't want to do this anymore, they actually loved being around in the open around other people, right? The good guys. They love being around the good guys. Even though they don't consider themselves good guys, they just love being around the light, other people, right? And they understood that the light or the goodness is a part of them too. That they can have family, a home, anywhere they choose, not what their parents choose, but what they choose, right? And in the show, they still went by villain kids. They used that as power and not as shame. Because in the show, the good guys were using it as shame, but they use it as power. We're still VKs. They have a whole chant to it, and a whole little huddle about it. But they're VKs. Y'all really go watch all these shows that I just mentioned. Go watch all of them and you see what I'm talking about. Such a good show. Such good movies. But how long have I been talking? My God, definitely over an hour. Um, yeah. So they still go out VKs, and this goes back to my last video. I talked about sex addiction and alcohol. I mean porn and addictions. How one person who eats an apple, um, or drinks alcohol, or drinks alcohol, they might gain power from that item, and they might be even stronger. They might have even more profound clarity, etc. Right? They might be able to be more spiritual, more magical. So they can drink 10 bottles a day and be okay. They can eat 10 apples a day and be okay. Because that's what their authentic nature requires. And somebody else authentic nature might be the complete opposite. These are two extremes. Because there's always little levels to it, right? And nuances. But somebody's authentic nature might completely get distorted if they drink any alcohol or eat any apples, right? Because some people are allergic to alcohol, some people are allergic to apples, right? Their internal ecosystem, internal cosmology might be distorted or disrupted if you invite that level of chaos, that level of evilness in. It's not because the evilness is bad, it's just because your authentic nature can't handle that. And that's fine, and that's okay, as long as you understand that all is in harmony, right? And same with the evilness. The evil guys gotta understand that if you aren't meant to be good, don't be good. If your authentic nature says you're evil, such as Jafar, Maleficent, the evil queen, uh, Cruella de Vil, their authentic nature, Bowser, Bling Bling Boy, Sid, um, Buford. If your authentic nature is to be evil, for your cosmology, anything that is too much good will actually harm you and distort your ecosystem. And it's like the villain kids. They go by villain kids. They rep that with pride, right? They also rep where they came from. They say never forget where you came from, which is the out of the lost, which is the slums, the underworld, the infernal realms, right? They might not be the same kind of evil as their parents, but they still operate evil but with good intentions. So you have, by good intentions, I mean they're evil that likes to be around the light, right? That has no problem with being around the light because they can handle it. Just like the song we just listened. This is a rebel cause with a royal heart. The rebels, the rebel cause are the children's, right? They're rebelling against their parents' identities and projections and evilness and norms. And they're also rebelling against the norms of the people of the Ordon Prep, which are represented by the good guys, right? The heroes, the princesses, the princes, right? The princesses and princesses are also projecting their own issues to these kids, right? To the rebels. They're the rebels. They're rebelling against their parents and how they should. They're rebelling against their parents and their ideas, and they're rebelling against the system, the society ideas of how they should be. Both the Ordon Prep kids and their parents are telling these four individuals how to be. But they're rebelling against that not because they're just acting out of evil because that's their function, like how their parents are, which isn't bad or good, but they're also not going to accept the title of evil and goodness like how their parents did because society said so. They're going to rewrite and ignite their own destinies, their own stories to what it means to be evil, what it means to be good. You see what I'm saying? Like for them, being a rebel, sometimes you gotta get your being evil, you gotta get your hands dirty. And however that means is however it means. But also having a solid cause, a royal heart, a solid cause, right? Doing it because you wanna protect your friends because you love them so fiercely. Doing it because you know that throwing everybody under the bus just to save your own behind, just so people can perceive you a certain way, isn't respectable because that's your nature, right? That's your nature. Everything is convoluted and it doesn't make sense nor does it matter. It's not about morality, it's about your nature, right? It's literally about your nature. Once again, going back to the show Recess, as above, so below, as within, so without, as all around, right? All that's from the teachers on down to the kindergartners are all connected to the school, and the school can literally be symbolized as the cosmos from the top to the bottom, right? From the very, very top, which is the void, on down to us. We're all playing on the same recess, the playground. Sometimes you might run into your snitches, like like Candace. Sometimes you might run into your bullies like Buford. Sometimes you might run into your people who love to help like Phineas or Mario. Sometimes you might run into your silent helpers like sometimes you might run into your silent helpers like Phineas. I mean like Ferb or your vampires. Sometimes you might run into your crazy whimsical individuals like the Wonderland individual like the Wonderland people, etc. You know, we're all playing a role here because this is all casting, right? I tell people, well, I say it to myself, just don't typecast yourself. You don't, one thing in the acting community that people try to avoid is typecasting. Because once you get into a certain role, it's hard to get out of it. It's damn near impossible. That's why Miley Cyrus did what she did. That's why Raven did what she did. She didn't do Raven Simone didn't do nothing crazy, but she shaved her hair, she got thicker, right? She still plays in Ravenholm, but she now is associated with something other than Disney. Miley Cyrus didn't want to be associated with Disney all her life. Imagine if we saw Miley Cyrus as Hannah Montana all the time. We wouldn't get any of her songs as we do now, right? So, just don't typecast yourself because once you do, you no longer are growing. And this is what these four children did. They didn't typecast themselves, right? Because being a villain to them is not the same as what their parents see being a villain as, right? This applies to me too. I don't see being a villain as this or that. I see being a villain as everything. I see evilness as everything. I see goodness as everything. I see neutrality as everything. I see everything as everything. It's the role you play based off your authentic nature because that gives you the most meaning. What's the point of playing a role if you don't care about it? So you're playing a role that gives you the most cosmology, the most meaning. At the same time, here's the paradox. You still don't want to typecast yourself into a singular role. I might be of the underworld of a demon, right? At the same time, I'm whatever I want to be at any given moment. If I want to be a demon this moment, I'll be a demon. If I want to be a witch, I'll be a witch. A dragon, a fairy, a human, a laptop. If I want to be a foot, I'll be a foot. While still understanding that I get fed from evilness. And what I define by evilness, right? That feeds me. While still understanding that that feeds me, right? Applies to the villain kids. They didn't choose to be typecast by their parents or the children of Ordon Prep. They choose their own destiny, their own story, their own authentic nature. At the same time, they redefine what that means, what that meant for them, right? They understood that yes, I'm a villain kid, but I'm also a royal. I'm also somebody who doesn't want to just be evil because I'm evil, but I'm evil and my actions can be considered evil because I'm a rebel. I challenge the norms, the systems, and I push against authority, right? And that can be seen as evil, right? Because the evil principle by nature is chaos, is the trickster spirit. And what is that? A force that challenges, period. If you are somebody who stands up for something, you have that rebel nature in you. You know what I'm saying? You have that evilness in you, right? Going back to yin and yang. Yang has evil in them. They have a little dash of evil in them, right? And yin has a little dash of goodness in them. It's not saying that evilness and goodness is one is superior over the other. It's to show that all you need is a little bit of one and the other in your balance, right? Like yin, right? Or yang, how it's light but it has darkness in it, right? These or should I say like yeah, it has dark it's light but it has darkness. No, sorry, I'm saying that wrong. Just like how yin, the darkness, has a little bit of light in it. These children are the yin element, the evilness, the dark principle, right? They are the yin, but their light comes from them. They're a rebel, right? That's the yin. That's their darkness. But that little light is their royal nature. They're representing their rebel. They're not, what I'm saying is, they're not a rebel just because they're a rebel. They're not a rebel just for the sake of being a rebel, right? They're a rebel because they stand for something, right? That's the light in the darkness. Whereas the darkness, I mean, the yang also shows that as well. They show that if you see this movie, there's this character. I can't remember her name. Was it Aubrey? I can't. I'm dyslexic, so her name was either Aubrey or Audrey, and she was a good character. But due to certain circumstances and her reaching her limit, her breaking point, um sorry I was drinking. She became a villain. But she also didn't become a villain just because the darkness in that yang, she became a rebel, a villain because she was fucked over, royally fucked over by the rebels. And I'm not gonna get too much into that because I need y'all to watch the movie. I don't want to spoil anything. But essentially, she had a justified crash out. She had a justified crash out. So she became the darkness in the light. Because in the show, let me just show a picture. Audrey, that's her name. Sorry, I love her. I love that song. Audrey, this is Audrey. She was one of the main characters in Ordon Prep. Like she was one of the popular kids in Ordon Prep, one of the top dogs, right? And then, and I told y'all, Ordon Prep is the light element. They're the yang, right? And the Isle of the Lost is the yin principle. So the darkness, the evilness. So she ended up becoming evil, the darkness and the light, right? And that's to show you that the darkness and the light can both have a rebel and royal cause at the same time. The light can be rebellious, not just royal. The dark can be royal, not just rebellious. You see what I'm saying? Because it doesn't matter. And even if the darkness is rebellious just to be rebellious, or evil just to be evil, and the light is royal just to be royal, that still plays into the overall equilibrium and cosmology of everything, right? You, like I said, imagination, which is source, the void, whatever, Hakate, is all things. It's all colors, all expressed at the same time. And every little minute and minuscule and microscopic and omniscopic and um horoscopic way. It's every little subtle, small, detailed way to show imagination. Imagination is the most insane rainbow, right? It's the most insane color. Because it has it includes every single thing, right? You can't avoid that. Literally, you can't avoid that because it is the void, right? Which everything came from. In the beginning, it's always dark first. In the beginning, it's always dark. Famous words said by the child empress from Never Ending Story, which is one of the best movies ever. Go watch it. One of my favorite movies, right? It's like 2003 Peter Pan movie, which I'm gonna see if I can still watch it. It should be available. I hope it is on YouTube. But that's another good example. You have Hook and Peter living in the same universe. Peter isn't trying to stop Hook to kill off evil forever. They have their little battle and then they leave. Even if Hook is trying to kill uh Peter, it doesn't matter. It's to show that they are coexisting because it's natural. It doesn't matter the reason. It's natural. And going back to evilness, um, now I'm about to get into another aspect of evilness, right? God, this video is gonna be so fucking long. I'm getting to another aspect of evilness, but I guess it needs to be said, right? Evilness. Hold on. What was I about to say? So I was thinking about Hook. Hold on. Hold on. Oh, that's what I was thinking. Evilness by nature is not just adversarial. It's not just a boundary pusher, which is all those things, obviously. It's a challenger, right? It challenges you. And it also consumes. That's the nature of evilness, of darkness, right? It consumes like the womb, right? To chew you up and spit you out as something tougher, as something more whole, right? And this is why you need evilness in every realm, right? But the way, like I said, evilness, just like evilness, darkness, etc., it has levels to it and layers, right? You can't typecast anything in its truest sense because everything, every element, whether it's evilness, goodness, fire, water, air, earth, has a microscopic symbolism that gets so small it gets convoluted. And then at its smallness, it goes back into everythingness because it's pure imagination expressing itself. And at its smallest, pure imagination is still pure imagination. At its highest, pure imagination is still pure imagination. So it gets convoluted the smaller you get and the highest you get. You can get so dense to a point. There's when you can get so dense to a point, it's inevitable that you're going to finally become everything again. That you're going to finally be able to breathe again, right? You're going to be able to expand again because it's inevitable, because it's just pure imagination. It reaches a point where it becomes pure imagination again. So evilness um consume hold on, what was I about to say? I kind of don't remember now, but what I'm trying to say is it by its nature, that's what it does. In every realm, yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Okay. Every realm has a form of evilness, right? It just doesn't look the same. The only reason why we can call anything evil or good or bad or light or dark or fish or a cat or a dog or a mouse is because we can now, and this is how convoluted it is, we can now see how convoluted everything is. You know what I'm saying? We can now see our backsides. We can now see what I look like with blonde hair. We can now see what I look like with blue hair, with black hair, with green hair, with fishnets, with no nets, purely naked, with poop coming out my butt. You know what I'm saying? And that means something, and that's powerful. And that's also sacred and profound as well. This is why evilness is just as profound and sacred and holy or unholy, how you want to look at it, as everything else. It's beautiful, you all. You understand? It's also beautiful, right? And beauty is subjective, right? And that's how convoluted everything is. Because literally everything is subjective. It really don't matter. It's legally literally objective to you, subjective to everything else. You see what I'm saying? Beauty is objective to you, but anybody outside of you is subjective. And vice versa to them. You see how it just eats on itself? The darkness, the evilness, feeds off the goodness, the light. The light, the goodness, feeds off the evilness, the darkness. They both define each other, right? So when we look at evil reptilians, it's not about, oh, you're evil, you raped me, you harmed my family, you oppressed us. So what? That's good. I know that sounds crazy. No, that's good they did all that. Because now what can that what how can you grow as a being, as a spirit? How can you find meaning into that? How can you paint the dream in your beautiful hues? You don't have to you don't have to become necessarily weak and just sit on your ass. Maybe you with that weakness, maybe you can draw power from that weakness. And boom, they taught you something. You see what I'm saying? And I understood that there's a level of evilness in every dimension, in every consciousness, right? By consciousness, I mean plane of existence. By every plane of existence. There's an evilness in every consciousness. So with that being said, down here, no, most beings wouldn't be necessarily dark and evil aren't synonymous necessarily with each other because you can be dark and not evil, right? Because we just discussed this. So, as evilness, the principle that is the principle of evilness down here, I would have to sit with this and channel with this. I don't know if it's exactly equal, but I know for like what I know is evilness. You don't need a lot, and I guess this does make sense because in every show, even in the show, the movie School of Good and Evil, there's always less villains typically than there are heroes, right? Like Bling Bling Boy is a villain in the show. He's a bully, right? He's evilness. He's the evil principal, but it's only one of him, and everybody else is either good or neutral. And Sid, he's the only villain, and Buford, the one in the black shirt, he's the only bully, the only evilness, right? And Bowser, right? To Mario. And I think that's because evil by nature consumes, you don't need too much of that any setting. Evilness is actually an extremely powerful force. This is why the underworld and infernal realms are the most powerful places to be and or go and to be of. Right? Even in the show, The Sandman, I think in season 2, Lucifer says hell is heaven's shadow. Not reflection, shadow. And the shadows hold the most raw potential, raw power, right? And now I can see why I'm getting to the shadows because I chose to, because I know my spirit. Okay, so sorry, this is a little side note. Anyways, I'm getting it now, but yeah, and you don't need too much of that consuming force in one space. Just like if you put a bunch of rabbits you put a bunch of invasive rabbits in a habitat, it's going to consume that habitat until there's nothing left, until it starts consuming itself because it has nothing to check it. It has no predator to keep it in line. It has no natural law, right? And if there's no natural law, meaning if there's no light, no goodness, then the evilness will start to consume everything. And because evilness is chaotic, it's prime evil, it's chaotic, it's darkness, it's all consuming like the room, right? That means it really won't birth anything, right? Right? And if you got too much goodness in an area, that means it won't create new life. And you need for you to create life, you need death. And for you to create death, for you to experience death and learn from death, you need life, right? Death gives life meaning, right? And life gives all this purpose, right? Every being understands this on the truest imaginary level. Every being knows this. If they didn't know this, we wouldn't be playing any characters at all. It wouldn't even exist. You understand that? So, with that being said, how long have I been recording? Yeah, I'm about to get off soon. But probably an hour and 30. I don't know. We'll see. But we're at an hour and 17. Technically, probably an hour and 20 now. But because I accidentally whatever, you know why. I'm sorry. So shut up. But yeah. So I think I'm pretty much done. Like the evilness is amazing. It's beautiful. And this is why I love aligning myself with the evil principle, right? I'm just like the descendants. I'm a rebel. You know what I'm saying? And I define evilness for me. You know what I'm saying? It's beautiful. And sometimes you need the evilness in you because the evilness can be that thing that tells you how to set your boundaries, right? Somebody's abusing you, you tap into your inner demon, your inner underworld, your inner evilness, your inner rebel, and you tell that person no. And however you tell them no is however you tell them no. I'm not here to judge. You know what I'm saying? If you want to beat that ass, you beat that ass. Or you know what I'm saying? If you gotta torture or do what you gotta do. But the evilness tells you to tap into that to be able to set your boundaries, to be able to stand your ground. And evilness teaches you that. You know what I'm saying? And the goodness tells the evilness like you ain't gotta be evil, you ain't gotta be a rebel without a cause. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gotta just do shit just to be doing shit. You can have a meaning for it. You can have a purpose for that. You know what I'm saying? They just feed off each other. You know what I'm saying? I keep saying that, sorry. But they're family. They love each other. They need each other. Even though if people don't consciously understand that, most people won't tell you that verbally because it's not a truth that needs to be verbalized. It's one that needs to be imagined at its true imaginary core, which it is. It's always a party. It can never be not a party. It's impossible. There's only one impossibility, is that, right? There's one absolute impossibility, is that. Maybe not. Who knows? But anyways, if anything's possible, hell. Um, but yeah, that's all I really have to say about evilness and goodness. I swore I made a show about this. I think I did, but I probably deleted it because it got messed up. I don't know. But I hope y'all understood that. Like, yes, there are beings that harm. So what? There are beings that heal. For every being that harms, there's a being that heals. So what? Your point? But they raped me, and you just ain't. It doesn't matter. I'm sorry, and to be technical, you just raped yourself. Since we're all part of imagination, since we're all part of the void, it's just you raping yourself. So, but but your feelings, they're valid. They tell you to feel them. Now, what can I create with them? Hello, and no, you don't have to create any physical art. That creation, that art, could literally just you having a new perspective, a new type of compassion, etc. A new type of wisdom, right? A new type of wisdom. So it's up to you because it's all you, all the time, everywhere, all at once. So what are you gonna do with it? Okay then. But yeah, I think I'm done here. We understood what I was talking about. Yeah, there wasn't much this going on. Thought I was gonna give y'all ambiance, but I guess not. Yeah, go watch all these shows: The Descendants, 1, 2, 3, 4, Ever After High, Recess, Phineas and Ferb, Johnny Says, Toy Story, and Small Soldiers. They're all good. So yeah, that's a Satanist take on evilness and goodness, I guess you can say. Yeah. So bye. Oh, I guess I could have left it like this so I can see background. So bye. Oh my god. Oh my god. Yo, real quick, I started another good analogy. Another good form of evilness could be like, oh, telling your friend, like your friend wants to hang out, but you already have plans to hang out with somebody else, right? But telling your friend, oh, no, I can't hang out. I'm sick. But the whole time you can't hang out with that friend because you're hanging around somebody who, you know, rubs your friend the wrong way, so you're trying to protect them and keep them safe, and you know how your friend gets, like they might get a little jealous, or they might not like the fact you're hanging out with somebody else because they might be clingy or whatever the reason is, right? Just you know you saying that just to protect them, like um just to protect them, right? And that can be a form of like evilness, right? Um or what was the other one I just thought of? Because like I said, this is the levels and like how everything is convoluted. Um Evilness is, hold on. This wasn't the exact thing that I was talking about. This wasn't the exact analogy that I came up with a second ago, but evilness could be like, oh, you don't want to hang out with a certain group of friends because you know all they do is drink, so you might make it an excuse to be like, yeah, I'm hanging out with so and so. Meanwhile, you're just at home chilling, right? For whatever reason, you know. But yeah, um, that wasn't the original one that I remembered, but I forgot it. But analogy, that wasn't the original analogy, but um yeah, essentially that's it. Like it's just convoluted because you can use evilness for any situation. You know what I'm saying? To protect somebody, to keep the world from ending. You can say like, "Oh, if I tell everybody aliens exist, the world will collapse." And, you know, you can use that, etc. This is just an example, right? Because everything's convoluted. Or you can have good intentions and then end up leading, and then what I say, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. You can have good intentions, but those intentions could lead to everybody's death. The light and truth are the same thing, just with different masks, girl. So how you want to wear that mask? Totally up to you. You know what I'm saying? and you can wear it, and the mask can be worn in any play and any show. That role of a truth teller and a liar are fluid. You understand what I'm saying? So yeah, just wanted to tell y'all how convoluted things can be, evilness and goodness, and everything, because it's imagination. So yeah.